What is meditation really? Why do I need to know this? Many people associate it with Tibetan monks, with practices from the East, or with something that more spiritual people do. The truth is that meditation is not something foreign or distant. It's a natural process available to everyone. Welcome to the first exciting journey of this year, which is related to meditation. A set of several episodes that combine theory and practice in each episode and then are brought together into a single film that will remain. They are filmed a little differently, with the idea being to dive into everything that I and the people around me have gone through related to meditation, to present it to you so you can decide what to do with this knowledge, because it is for everyone. And it's necessary to become aware of the time we are living in, the space we are in, and the choices we make. So make yourselves comfortable and have a pleasant journey. To understand meditation, in my opinion, we need to start from the very beginning. Instead of seeing meditation as something complicated and distant, we will look at it as a process that is already happening in our lives. We will go through several key topics: myths, mysticism and truth, what meditation actually is, the physical perspective, how the brain and the pineal gland work, or why time is an illusion, channeling and intuition, or how to receive information and apply it, and parallel realities, how to change our choices, our focus, or our point of reference. After each or during each episode, as I said, there will be a practical meditation on the topic. Meditation, a portal to ourselves, it allows us to see in the way we can and in the most natural way for our senses. On one hand, we know meditation is a great mystery, something incomprehensible, alien, frightening, extraordinary. On the other hand, it turns out that it is physics, science, a natural auxiliary process for our current experience on the planet. We're beginning this journey together. Are you ready? You're already here, so let's begin. What is meditation? Is it just a relaxation technique, a way to manage stress, or something much deeper, naturally? What really is meditation? Why should I even care about any of this? Why should it matter to me? The answer is simple. Iceberg. Yes, let's imagine an iceberg. On top of the iceberg, we have a very shallow ice block, sharply where it says breathing, letting go of thoughts, letting go of fears, emotional traumas, childhood, mental attacks, panic attacks, depressions, health. We go down yoga, holotropic breathing, we go down transcendental meditation, channeling parallel realities, we go down source. These are the things below, which look like levels. Actually, this whole thing is an iceberg. It's just that one side of it looks a bit more familiar and small, while the other is deeper and bigger. And actually, that's the mystical, the unknown, the unexplored. It's much more. That's the basic idea of the iceberg. If you focus on your limitations, you'll say it's natural that there are levels. And even looking at it that way, you eventually reach the deepest part, the bottom of the rabbit hole. And actually, that's the source. And that works. That's true. But if you look at it as an iceberg, it's a symbol of as above, so below. As below, so above. So we can't say that the upper or the lower is more correct. It's as above, so below. So the same and the different are the same thing. Everything is one. The one is everything. Usually we deal with the tip of the iceberg while the essential things are below. Multidimensional, simultaneous, and constantly happening now. Try to remember it. Multidimensional, because it exists in all dimensions and layers. In other words, it multiplies. It not only duplicates and replicates, it multiplies. Multiplier means more, multiple. Simultaneously, in the one time that is only now and is constantly happening, it manifests, it is created, recreated, it always happens now. If we look at it linearly or come down to earth, as we like to say, meditation is far from a new concept. As kids, we're taught, and when we hear this word, we're made to believe that it's something for those crazy people in Tibet, monks, or in China, Shaolin monasteries, and so on. That's how we grew up. That's what they make us believe. That's what we've chosen to believe. But if it wasn't important, then why would someone like Marc Aurèle, a Roman emperor and philosopher who ruled during some of the empire's most difficult times, name his personal revelations to himself, which were never meant to be published, meditations? In Bulgarian, we say to himself, which is powerful, but the real translation is meditations. For Marc Aurèle, ruling is a responsibility, not a privilege. Despite having absolute power, he remains an example of a leader who leads not through fear, but through reason. He believes that true strength is not in allegiance, but in mastering one's own mind. Even after centuries, his words seem like guidance for anyone searching. A person's life is shaped by his thoughts. What did Marc Aurèle know that we don't today? Why did he force his mind to strictly remember these thoughts? So he wouldn't forget them. The very act of writing or expressing something outside of ourselves, focused on a specific point in space, is also meditation. Drawing, music, dancing, walking in the forest, working out at the gym are also forms of meditation. Do you understand how to set boundaries for something that is infinite by its very nature? Meditation is reflection, contemplation, self-observation. Contemplation can happen in any part and any state of the mind. It has no boundaries. The mind can contemplate anything. Everything is mental. Conclusion. Meditation is simply a bridge to the whole. You are part of the whole. Then you will say, and we will have to touch on regression, progression, astral travel, lucid dreaming, transcendental meditation, remote viewing, channeling. Well, all of this is meditation. All of this is the same thing. And if you haven't been able to make the connection strongly before, I believe that after the end of these few series, we will really be able together once again to realize that all is one and one is all. Actually, these are like separate fish at the fish market. One is a pike, another is a trout, another is a shark, but in essence, they're all fish. In my opinion, in order to truly understand what meditation is, since nowadays everyone either teaches meditation, makes a lot of money from meditation, or sets themselves up to explain what meditation is. In my opinion, first it is necessary to understand, or at least, if it's easier for someone that way, let's assume that we can accept another point of view. Not to understand, but to assume acceptance. A different point of view from your own ideas. If it's hard for you to understand, at least try to consider another alternative. What will you lose? And what is it, you might ask? Well, a few things. I'm saying them now because they should be said at the start of the series. You don't need to understand them right away or force yourself to understand or remember them. Don't try. There's no point. Control isn't the answer. Everything is now. Time is an illusion. Everything happens simultaneously. All is one, one is all. Everything is thinking. Everything is vibration. Everything moves. There are no separate systems in the universe. You are the source, and the source is within you. I pay special attention to the last part. I highlight it with an imaginary marker, without a slash or a broken line between the two. And it's not one or the other, it's one and yav. Everything is possible. It's about focus and exploration. Everything is possible. Everything is equally possible at the same time. That is, everything in the one time, which is simultaneous, which is only now, is equally possible. In that sense, there is one time and it is only now, but it is not limited by time and space as we are usually used to. We can simply see this in the word simultaneously. Endless possibilities exist for a single event. Can you imagine? The possibilities of the source are endless. All is one and one is all. Since the possibilities of the source are endless, since the possibilities for one event, for one person are endless, and the source is infinite. That means you are infinite as well. Interpret it as you wish. One is all is one. The brain prefers logic, order, and consistency. Let's go back to the most important thing before we even ask ourselves what meditation is. Why should I meditate? Before all of that, in my opinion, there is only one thing: to start from the fact that everything is now and everything is happening at the same time. Because then you automatically stop dividing. You stop placing conditions on anything or anyone. Meditation is a true immersion in ourselves, a journey within beyond the physical. The rest, we can call it whatever we want. Some people call it the spiritual, ethereal, or etheric body. Others skip this part and go straight to the higher self. I use it, and that's how I've been taught, directly from the source. We connect with the whole. It doesn't matter what I call it. The process is individual for everyone anyway, but it leads to the same place, because the one is everything, and everything is one. Funny, isn't it? Meditation is that almost neutral state. It's very close to that state. When you step out of your thoughts, you immerse yourself, you connect, you become one with the infinite space of all possibilities. And from there, from that point of view, you start, simply put, to draw information from the source. This source is endless water. We all know it. This water has information about everything. Inside, you can see the so-called past lives, reincarnations, future reincarnations, the so-called retroactive causation effect, to be precise. When we wake up and we've done enough exercises to remember our dreams, we say, well, first, this happened to me, then this happened to me, then this happened to me. But you just arrange it that way. Now, at the moment when you've woken up, but did it really happen that way? No. Time moves differently in dreams than on Earth. And actually we can feel it. Time itself is a side effect of our consciousness, which constantly experiences everything in the present. Time is a self-limiting factor of consciousness, which exists as a kind of reference point for limitation, for our exploratory experience that we ourselves have chosen through our specific desire. This is time. Time is an artificial measure so that we can say from here to here, it is like this. But it's both that way and not. That's the paradox of time. It exists and doesn't, like us. But we insist that there is a line. Whether we admit it or not, we insist that the path has a beginning and an end. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Why? Because that's what we've chosen to believe as people. That's true on every scale, from micro to macro. Since first grade, we've learned the universe has a beginning, the Big Bang. And of course, the universe couldn't keep expanding forever, because if there was a big beginning, then at some point there will also be a big end. It's the same way on the micro level. A person as a system has a beginning. He is who he is, descended from apes through evolution, and by the year 3000, the planet will burn up and end. You see, it's as if we don't allow ourselves to step outside these boundaries. Well, how do you think our meditation will look if we don't allow ourselves to see beyond the horizon? The word meditation itself comes from Latin, meditatio, which translates as reflection. And what is reflection? To learn how to think. And in order to learn to think or to generate new thoughts, it's necessary to adopt a different point of view from what we think we know so far. Otherwise, everything else would happen except for the idea of getting new thoughts and ideas. But how can we enter the infinite space if we're firmly convinced that everything around us is objective, the world is a terrible chaos, people are mean, and then there's that thing where someone explains it to you, excuse me, but, and we start cursing up a storm. We're all like that. Think of a time when you suddenly came up with a great idea while you were taking a shower or just before falling asleep. Your mind wasn't overthinking, it was in a relaxed, open state. That's exactly what happens during meditation. When we quiet the noise of everyday thoughts, we create space for something deeper to emerge. Insight, creativity, and even answers to the big questions. Therefore, above all, the first thing needed for meditation, in my opinion, is acceptance. Acceptance. Allowing that things can happen and are possible. Since everything happens at once and all things occur, my desire must also exist somewhere in infinity. Your desire, my intention, your intention, my dream, your dream. And then the second point is the realization that everything already exists as information, and all that remains is for us to download it. For there to be manifestation, for there to be physical life, a reference point is needed. However, this reference point also changes. This is already the iceberg's bottom, because you think that this reference point is objective, fixed, clear, and always there. But there is no such thing. Everything is equally possible. Everything is equally valid. And if you decide tomorrow to say to hell with everyone around you, doctors, for example, and the others, and go to the Bahamas, well, that's absolutely equally possible. If you decide to explore the planets and head towards National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that's absolutely possible too. You drop everything. Yes? It's a more complicated jump. That's a fact. This is where Levski comes in. You need a lion's leap. But it's still possible. I'm not saying what needs to happen for you to realize that choice or potential. I'm saying that everything is equally possible. It's absolutely the same. From the perspective of all potential, we are the ones who decide to what extent we set the barriers. And here comes the seventh principle of Hermes, which you know well. Gender is in everything. Gender appears at every level. Why does gender appear at every level? Well, because this expansion, first of our thought and our consciousness, is infinite. However, it brings an artificial order. It's order, but not genuine. Why? Well, because everything is now. It starts from now, from a single place, here. From a single moment, now here. And just as in our personal life, just as in communication with friends, loved ones, and relatives, just as in our personal desires to explore in this life where we want to go, where we want to be, what we want to become, it's exactly the same during meditation. Because in meditation you can stop, as we said at the beginning, for example, with some of the familiar things, or breathing, Wim Hof releasing the methyltryptamine, or yoga nidra. But you have the potential to go to other places as well. And that's worth mentioning. That's wonderful, because everyone is on their own journey, even here. It's not right to judge anyone. Let everyone find the technique and way that helps them best become aware and go within themselves. But let's not reject other ways. Let them be aware of them and even consciously choose their own unique arrangement of the unknown. And that's why people have somehow created these levels as an easier guide. The effect is the same. Everyone always experiences exactly what they need the most. But what he needs the most is connected to what he has chosen to follow. And these are intertwined. Because how can you say what it is that you need if you've been making the same choices for 20 years? Well, if you've been banging your head and working yourself to the bone for 20 years, of course what you need is to go to the best mineral springs for 2 months and disappear. Of course. Or to spend time with your family because, for example, you haven't been around for the last 10 years and you've been traveling around Europe, right? The same and the different are identical. My sincere wish, before we get into the concept of meditation, is for us to reflect on the illusion we live in. This illusion, and you create it yourselves. The idea of spirituality is created by yourselves. Life itself is made that way, just so we have the chance to explore it from infinitely many angles. However, if everyone understands that everything is one and the one is everything, then whatever they decide to explore, let it be from that perspective. Let them freely explore wherever their heart leads, following their own filter and individuality. From the perspective that everything is one and the one is everything. From the perspective that there are no separate systems. From the perspective that there is one specific teaching, one specific technique, for example. Human design is directly, proportionally connected to everything else. Whether we see the connections or not doesn't matter. And watch now. Focused meditation, mindfulness, what was it? Transcendental meditation, vipassana, insight meditation, metta, zen meditation, yoga nidra, kundalini meditation, channeling, Osho dynamic meditation, holotropic breathing, observer meditation, tantra meditation, sound meditation, visualization meditation, chakra meditation, breathing meditation, pranayama, movement meditation, qigong, tai chi, meditation, inner light, santmat, dzogchen meditation, shamanic meditation, heart meditation, heartfulness, meditation on death, maranasati, meditation in darkness, metaphysical meditation, guided meditation, dreamlike meditation. Which one exactly would you like me to present to you? Which exact meditation should I talk about? The interesting moment. Whichever of the chosen methods I present to you, which, let's clarify, are wonderful methods from the perspective of infinity. They will be limited. Either the brain will convince itself that it's entering a certain system again, or a rut, or it's being taken somewhere. That's why I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart that my idea is to lead you to one single place, the present. From there on, to consciously learn to change the way we think and our perspective about everything we believe is fixed and clear in our world. After that, to consciously choose exactly what we want to focus on and immerse ourselves in it, and to explore it. There are many meditations, so many options. The source is one. Everything is one. The one is everything. I'm connecting with you, and I'm well aware that there are some of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, but since this is episode 0, I'd like us to wake up our brains a bit. Objectivity doesn't exist. Everything is an option or a point of view. And now watch the wordplay. Since everything is equally possible, how can there be anything objective if everything is one, the one is everything, and everything is one, which is one, and the one is everything is equally possible? Okay, but is it possible for everything to be equally possible when there is a choice? If there is a choice, then the range narrows for a moment and the infinite possibilities disappear. Without the choice, everything is possible again. You change the reference point, we change the point of view. This is one of the experiences that can be felt during meditation. The so-called shift of the reference point. Because now you can be yourself, the one who is observing. I can be Choco or Stoyan, the one who is talking to you. And in meditation, I can become an outside reference point, observing Stoyan as he films and talks to you. But I can also become the reference point of someone who is watching the camera, which itself is a reference point, watching Stoyan as he films and talks to you. And I can also become the one who is sleeping and dreaming about watching a recording camera that observes Stoyan as he films and talks to you. We are changing the reference point. I can also become the one who is told that when he falls asleep, he will see a camera recording where, in a room today, Stoyan is filming and talking to someone. What is this about? Time doesn't exist. All is one. Why? Let's think about it. This is related to regression, progression, past lives, and so on. Some people in Bulgaria now teach regression and past life connections. It's even becoming a trend. Everything is now. How are past lives possible? Watch now. You can experience regression because everything is now and everything is happening at the same time. We artificially create a past to put some kind of framework around our research, but in principle, it already exists. So it is now. Have you realized all of this? Only then does meditation become different. Then, since once again everything is possible even in it, you can choose to heal yourself. You can choose to receive specific information. You can go and see what's at the very top of the Egyptian pyramids. You can enter the king's chamber. You can connect with the consciousness of Orion or even Procyon. You can meet with the deceased. Relatives of yours, from your current point of view. If we allow ourselves to understand this, then these lines, highways or different fish, they become infinite. You can go grill them, try them, taste them, share them with friends, discuss what the fish bones are like, how well it turned out, crispy, but with butter it's one thing, and with lemon it's another. Then you can truly enjoy doing it. It's a paradox that we do this and look for a deeper meaning. Why do we only fry trout and ask about the ocean? But we are the ocean, we know this. Let's get back to the ocean now. Let's recognize that everything is one. Every single fish contains the whole ocean, and the ocean is contained in every single fish, and only then can each fish start swimming wherever it wants. Because we've forgotten that. Do you understand? Before we come to this earth, we know very well we sign contracts. We forget about ourselves and who we are globally, and we start playing the game of life. And here, nothing mattered. And here, you had to accumulate knowledge, learn lessons, and clear your karma, okay? Wonderful. Let's leave the motorcycles out of karma for a moment. I'm not talking about the familiar point of view that some souls who have incarnated on planet Earth have to atone for karma, and then they'll go to higher or lower astral planes, depending on how each one is judged. They'll enter the great darkness and only if obedient, eventually merge with the divine light. We're commenting here. Actually, things are already accessible and clear to the whole world. And some concepts, in principle, we can shape as a kind of metaphysics that is both happening and manifesting every choice in the eternal now. Each of these choices contains the entire potential, the entire source within us. If we know this and express it through our hearts, through our desires, the constant power of the source that we are, then whatever we choose can be realized. That's what I want to be understood. Paddy, let's begin. And after we've said all that, now is also the right time to ask a question. And what is meditation? And for starters, before we begin, anyone who wants can now close your eyes, relax. Everyone who wants to relax your head, your shoulders, your lower back, your thighs, your fingers. Relax your whole body and give in to the music and voice. Allow yourself to allow that there is much more than what you know. Allow yourself to receive the knowledge that you already are. Be yourself. Be yourself. Pulana. Green. Beautiful. Full of colors. Blue from clouds in the sky. Beautiful. Calm. Gently floating and moving through space. Walk through this field. As you walk towards it, you'll see many things around you. Keep going forward. Feel the beauty. At the end of the meadow, you will see a door. And the moment you walk through that door, you will feel the freedom of it, to be alone in the source. You are at home. Wish for harmonization. Merging. Crystallization. We are one. Freedom. Madres. And eternal knowledge. Accept it. Allow it and let what is meant for you now come. No matter how it appears in any form or what it says, wherever it leads you, accept it, it's for you. Allow it within yourself, because it is the most necessary thing at the most needed moment. For each one of you, go deep inside yourself and wish for what you desire most deeply. No conditions, demands, instructions, directions, definitions, labels, or comparisons, or sorting it into pretend drawers. You are the source. You can do anything, and you know everything. Choose your path, choose your life and fate. Move towards yourself. Feel it with your hearts. Accept it. Embrace it with the light that you are, and give it what it needs so that it can be realized. When you are ready to release your desire, return to yourself and to your sensations. Wish the same for everyone currently listening, watching, hearing, or doing. May they fulfill these cherished wishes or choices and make them come true, so that it is the best for everyone and everything. Accept the light within yourself and give everything to everyone. When you are ready, open your eyes in your newly chosen reality. For this, what exactly? And the meditation